Talk about a crusher. Yes! Oh!
Are you kidding me?
And gone!
Welcome back to Schoolyard Sports Podcast. I'm the host of this podcast lane, Frank. We're now episode 89. It's for 89 episodes through, and I got an action-packed episode playing for you. College football is back. You know what that means? College Football Showcase is back, and we're going to deliver you some awesome picks. This is one of the best episodes of the year. We had it last year. It was amazing. So exciting. Week one of the college football season, every week, college football is the best. NFL preseason just got wrapped up. MLB summer is over. We're entering the last month of MLB regular season. Our team's going to make the playoffs? Are they going to break? We're just going to have to wait and see. Stay tuned for an awesome episode number 89. Let's hop into it. Let's start with episode number 89, how we always do, with the headlines in the NBA. Number 2 pick, this year's NBA draft, Chet Holmgren, forward out of Gonzaga, is going to miss his entire rookie season. He was playing one of those programs. He was playing the crossover. He came up against a play with LeBron James, broke most of his ligaments in his foot. That's just a tough break right there. I kind of compare the situation right here to the Bull situation when he played at Oregon. Bull, Chet Holmgren, very fragile frames, both over 7 feet tall, both lanky type of frames, very skinny, maybe not as much weight put on them, but they're very, very tall, and they're very, very fragile. Bull, when he was in college, had a first amazing 10 games at Oregon. Then he breaks his foot, but before he broke his foot, he was projected top 10 pick. After that, he went to the second round. Now, Chet Holmgren is going to miss his whole entire rookie season. This can be viewed as a Ben Simmons situation, a Blake Griffin situation, where they come back the next year and they win Rookie of the Year. We're just going to have to wait and see. This year's NBA draft class looking pretty good with Victor Wembanyama. Imagine if the Thunder had Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren on that rookie squad. Whew, that's a good team right there. But that's more we'll talk about later. RJ Barrett gets extended by my New York Knicks, everybody. And that's just amazing stuff right there. So he's not going to be involved in that Utah Jazz trade. Now, there's some rumors going around that extension ended all talks with Utah Jazz for Donovan Mitchell, but then a report came out today that they're re-engaging back in conversations. It just won't include RJ Barrett. It maybe will include Obi Toppin, a lot more first-round picks. We're just going to have to wait and see. That was about for the news in the NBA this week. Let's move to NFL. We just wrapped up the preseason. So NFL preseason just got wrapped up. We're having quarterback battles being wrapped up. You see Geno Smith getting the starting nod for the Seattle Seahawks. You see TJ Watt, unfortunately, getting hurt. Hopefully, you're doing your fantasy football dress. Hopefully, you're making the right choices. Maybe taking Christian McCaffrey. I took Christian McCaffrey. I'm counting on him this year because I'm counting on Baker Mayfield also to make those right plays with Christian McCaffrey. That's about from the news in the NFL this week. Let's move to the MLB, where we had a bunch of news. So the Yankees, everybody, still struggling. People thought, Yankees versus Athletics? This is going to be a slaughter this series. Yeah, Athletics are one of the worst teams in the past 5 years. Well, it went the other way around. The Athletics spanked the Yankees. The Yankees played horrible that entire series. A team that isn't playing horrible, still slumping a little bit. My New York Mets, they're playing right now against the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is game 1. We're recording this on Tuesday. We're up 1-0 right now, which I'm really happy to see. But the offense has gotten a little bit bad as of late. You see Max Scherzer pitching a gem on Sunday afternoon, but the offense really couldn't do anything. I think they only had 1 run. So tough stuff right there by New York Mets. We're going to get things figured out, though. In my opinion, you got the series starting tonight against the Los Angeles Dodgers, a team really keying up right now. St. Louis Cardinals, everybody. I mean, St. Louis Cardinals just going off right now. Albert Pujols get hit another home run. He's going to be in our Did You Know? You're just going to have to wait and see what that is. But Albert Pujols going off so far this season. I mean, everybody on this team's playing well. They're playing well at the right time. They have Nolan Arenado. They have Paul Goldschmidt, who's obviously going to win MVP. They have Jack Flaherty. They have Adam Wainwright, which, however many seasons he's been in the MLB, still tearing things up. Yadier Molina. This is a very, very good team, in my opinion. Heating up at the right time. That's about for the headlines this week. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. All right, Schoolyard Sports fans, you ready for this one? We're doing the Schoolyard Scream. This week's Schoolyard Scream recipient is Nebraska head coach Scott Frost. Well, Scott Frost and the Nebraska Cornhuskers took their way to Ireland to play on the Northwestern Wildcats. And everybody thought, Northwestern was terrible last season, and we all think Nebraska's going to do well. They have Mark Whipple, they have Trey Palmer, they have Casey Thompson. They're going to do great this year. They do a whomp in week 1. They do terrible, and they lose that game. Now, Casey Thompson played amazing in this one. Casey Thompson, the most unlucky player maybe in college football right now. Last season, played pretty well at Texas, just got unlucky with got some tough breaks right there in that Kansas game where the defense was just horrible. Offense was good in that game. Now, at Nebraska, plays amazing, has an amazing first drive, throws 2 interceptions. Both of them on very catchable passes. One of them, the first one, was a catchable pass, and the second one, easy drop by their tight end. And I blame all of this, not on those receivers, but on Scott Frost. Mark Whipple's offense played pretty well in this game. Now, if you don't know who Mark Whipple is the former Pittsburgh offensive coordinator when Kenny Pickett was there, when Jordan Addison was there, when all those amazing players were there. He incorporated them so well, developed Kenny Pickett so well, developed Jordan Addison so well, so people thought, hey, let's take him over to Nebraska. Let's see what he can do. Then they hire the LSU wide receiver coach, and he's done amazing stuff in Nebraska so far. Bringing over Trey Palmer, bringing over their recruit, the coolest to ever do it, Crawford. Yes, that's a funny name right there. That's his real name. But funny stuff right there with Nebraska. Not doing so well right now, and this is all on Scott Frost, one of the worst head coaches in college football. He has a 34-37 record in college football. This man went 12-0 one season, and he doesn't even have a winning record. This is only his 7th season in college football. He went 12-0 one season and has a losing record right now. This isn't Casey Thompson's fault. This isn't Adrian Martinez's fault. This isn't Luke McCaffrey's fault, who used to be their quarterback, who Scott Frost ruined. This isn't Wandale Robinson's fault, who played in Nebraska, who Scott Frost ruined. And it definitely isn't Adrian Martinez's fault, who Scott Frost for sure ruined and messed up his entire career. I'm not even a Nebraska fan. I love Michigan. I love seeing Nebraska fail because it's an easy game to win every year. But he messed up Adrian Martinez bad. Adrian Martinez, freshman year, 2018, so much hype. All right, he gets hurt. Nebraska has a terrible season. Get a pass. 2019, they do terrible. Again, and Adrian Martinez pretty much did not do much. 2020, they bring in Luke McCaffrey, and they thought, oh, Adrian Martinez is just going to run away with the job. No, he's no longer that dark horse for Heisman anymore, Adrian Martinez. They bow it out. They don't do well. In 2021, he had some more injuries. But it's the system with Scott Frost. They tried to maybe pull Michigan like Michigan did last year, where they revamped the staff and they kept Jim Harbaugh and they made the college football playoff. They thought, hey, let's keep Scott Frost. Let's revamp the staff. Let's keep Scott Frost. We can have a winning season. Let's bring in some transfers. Well, that can work if your coach doesn't have the biggest ego in college football. I hate Scott Frost. You should too. That's my Schoolyard Scream for this week. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Now, top 5, everybody. This week's top 5s, the top 5 college football redemption squad, everybody. This is the redemption squad for college football. It's a new season of college football, everybody. Don't worry. You gotta start with a new, clean slate. Any team, except if you played week 0, can have a winning season this year. They could be this year's UTSA. They could be this year's 2016 type of Western Michigan team. They could be this year's 2018 UCF. You never know. So we're gonna hop into it right here. My top 5 college football redemption squad. People who deserve a second chance at college football. I think they're going to get this season. Number 5, Mike Norvell, Florida State head coach. This is the year. They were great in week 0 against Duquesne. I like Mike Norvell. Now, last year in week 1, they played amazing versus Notre Dame. And then in week 2, get a dud against Jacksonville State. Say, hey, we're going to win this game. And they lose on Hail Mary, and their season goes bonkers from there. Yes, they had some good upsets against North Carolina. Yes, they probably could have made a bowl game if they beat Florida in that bowl game, but they couldn't in that last game. So, interesting stuff right there from Florida State and Mike Norvell. I think this is the year they play LSU week 1 on Sunday. We're just going to have to wait to see my pick on that game. Mike Norvell, 5. Number 4, Miami Hurricanes, everybody. Miami Hurricanes really had a good squad last year. It really looked like it was all coming together. They have De'Aaron King. They have all these good stars. They have Manny Diaz back. And they play Alabama week 1. I think they really just lost all the confidence right there. De'Aaron King kind of dropped out of the team after he got hurt, prepared for the NFL draft. De'Aaron King isn't even in the NFL. He got cut by the Patriots right away. They had Tyler Van Dyke take over. Tyler Van Dyke is looking like an NFL caliber top quarterback recruit out of 2019. Tyler Van Dyke. So it's just interesting right here. You got Mario Cristobal coming over from Oregon. I don't know how they're going to do this year, but I think they're going to get some redemption. They had just a really rough year last year. Number 4, Miami. Number 3, Adrian Martinez, everybody, who I just talked about in Schoolyard Scream. Adrian Martinez isn't under that wacky Scott Frost system anymore. Now he's under Chris Kleiman, where he's got an amazing running back in Deuce Vaughn. He's at Kansas State, amazing running back in Deuce Vaughn. He's a good quarterback, Adrian Martinez. I'm excited to see what they can do in the Big 12. I think they can maybe even finish top 3 in the Big 12 this year. Sneaky thing to look out for right there. Number 3, Adrian Martinez. Number 2, Texas Longhorns, everybody. Quinn Ewers, it's time. Steve Sarkisian, it's time. Xavier Worthy, it's time. This was a championship caliber team last season. Now they're a championship caliber team again this season. They just couldn't put the pieces together last season. Let me explain to you what. They had a good roster last season. They had a lot of upperclassmen. They had Xavier Worthy, who was amazing. Then kind of things went off the rails. Casey Thompson didn't play so well, and Hudson Card couldn't play so well. But now they got Quinn Ewers, everybody. This guy's a baller, and I think he does well. Number 2, Texas. And number 1, It's maybe college football's biggest villain, or it could be college football's biggest hero. It's the man I picked to win the Heisman last year, preseason week 1, just for him to get taken out midseason when I picked Caleb Williams to pick the Heisman. Instead of him, it is Spencer Rattler, everybody. Okay, Spencer Rattler, number 1 on this college football redemption squad. I'm interested to see how it goes. They brought over his tight end to South Carolina, Austin Stogner. They brought in his former quarterback coach in Shane Beamer. So now they have Shane Beamer there, they have Spencer Rattler there, and they have Austin Stogner there. I'm interested to see how this goes. Spencer Rattler, number 1 on my college football redemption squad. Maybe it's a character thing with Spencer Rattler. I think it was. I mean, you see those clips from high school, him just not being a good character at all, getting suspended in high school, winning the Elite 11, though. He's got the talent. Number 1, Spencer Rattler. That's about for my top 5 college football redemption squad. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. That's about for top 5 this week. Now, didn't know everybody. This week's Didn't Know is, did you know Albert Pujols, who I said would be this week's Didn't Know, didn't know Albert Pujols has homered off of 450 different pitchers, the most of all time. Albert Pujols has well over 600 career home runs. He's about to be at 700 for his career, but didn't know Albert Pujols has homered off of 450 different pitchers, the most of all time. Didn't know that? Leave that in the comment section. That's about for Didn't Know this week. Now, preseason NFL's wrapped up, and I have 3 quarterbacks, NFL quarterbacks, that are must-see TV. Let me hop into it right here. So, it's not going to be Russell Wilson. It's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. It's not going to be Tom Brady, the guys you expect to see on this list. It's going to be the guys who have had rough careers so far in their career and get a lot of hate from the media, get a lot of hate from the fans. But I think they have a good season this year. Let me explain to you why. First one, Mitch Trubisky. You're screaming there laughing right now. I can see it. But I think Mitch Trubisky is going to have a good season this year. Now, Mitch Trubisky, 2 of his 4 seasons starting, made the playoffs. Now, his first season, I don't even know why I'm counting this as season starting. They weren't very good his rookie season, so he didn't have a good season. Second season, 2018, they go 12-4 in the regular season. Mitch Trubisky had a 6-touchdown game that season. Mitch Trubisky was amazing this season, and it was all under Matt Nagy, everybody. Matt Nagy, who we all hate. He would have made the divisional round of the playoffs that year if Cody Parkey made that field goal quick. And if Cody Parkey was not the Bears' kicker that year, Mitch Trubisky might even have a ring on his finger. Now you could say, whoa, you just said Mitch Trubisky might have won a championship in 2018. Mitch Trubisky might have been a Super Bowl winning champion. Yeah, I did just say that. Because Mitch Trubisky and that Bears defense was elite that year. That team was amazing. Nothing could have flaunted that team except for Cody Parkey. I think they could have beat the Saints in the divisional round. I think they could have beat the Rams in the conference championship. And I maybe think they could have even beaten the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That's a little bit outrageous there, but they only lost to the Patriots by 1 yard on a Hail Mary. They threw up a Hail Mary against them that season, and they missed it by 1 yard. Mitch Trubisky was outstanding that season. 2 of his 4 seasons starting, Mitch Trubisky has made the playoffs. His most recent season starting made the playoffs in 2020, and he still gets hate from that season. So I really don't understand the stuff with Mitch Trubisky. He's a starting caliber quarterback. You could say he has more upside than Kenny Pickett. I'm not going to go as far as there right now. He's got more upside than Mason Rudolph, who I still do like. Mitch Trubisky gets a bad rep, deserves to be a starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This season, deserves to be a starting quarterback in the NFL for a long time, in my opinion. Next quarterback on this list, Jameis Winston. But, okay, what I didn't know last week was Jameis Winston, on his last pass attempt of his first 6 seasons in the NFL, have all been a touchdown for either his team or other team. Jameis Winston's a funny guy. He had a good season last year up until his last game. They probably could have made the playoffs if he played the whole entire season. But Taysom Hill came in, didn't do so well. Jameis Winston's a good quarterback, though, everybody. And Jameis Winston comes back from the ACL out there, has a good season this year, in my opinion. Jameis Winston has a good season. Jameis Winston gets a bad rep. And I think he's a good season this year. We're just going to have to wait and see. That's my pick. Now, last quarterback on this list, his NFC South rival, Baker Mayfield. Everybody. Now, Tom Brady thinks, Falcons, they're not good this year. Saints, they're not good this year. Panthers, they're not good this year. We're going to 6-0 all these teams. We're going to win every single game against these teams this season. We're going to go 6-0 in our division. Not so fast, Tom Brady. Not so fast. I really think Baker Mayfield and Jameis Winston both have good seasons. Baker Mayfield won a Heisman in college. Was amazing his rookie season. Not so good his second season. His third season played amazing, which we all saw. And that was his fourth season last year. He gets arguably have the best arm in the NFL. He arguably has the most strong arm in the NFL. You saw him make that. He has the record for longest thrown pass in the air against the Ravens on Monday Night Football a couple years ago. Remember that crazy Monday Night Football game? I think it was to end the game. A 75-yard pass. Longest of all time. That one's to Baker Mayfield right there. But Baker Mayfield has made some great throws in the preseason. You saw that one on a rope to Robbie Anderson. So, yeah, interesting stuff there. Baker Mayfield, great player. Great player, in my opinion. He's going to have a good season this year. He's with Christian McCaffrey. Now, I know I said this all last season with Sam Darnold. I said, Sam Darnold's going to have a good season. He's got Christian McCaffrey now. But now Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. That's why he went number 1 over Sam Darnold. I truly believe that's why. That's about for these quarterbacks who are must-see TV this season. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. College football is here, everybody. I wish I had some confetti or some throwers to play right here because college football is back, everybody, and I am so excited. It's the best sport of all time. There's no debating me on that. I am the best college football analyst you will ever meet. I know the most about college football more than anybody in the world. I'm a 14-year-old kid, and I'm saying that right there. The confidence I have to say that. I'm better than Kirk Herbstreit. I'm better than Lee Corso. I'm better than Desmond Howard. I'm better than Gus Johnson. I'm better than Matt Leonard. Anybody throw at me. I'm better than all these guys. I know my college football down pat. Let's hop into it. My college football top 25 fans. It's not going to look like RJ Young's. Let's hop into it. Preseason college football top 25. Number 1, Georgia Bulldogs. Number 2, Alabama. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 4, Michigan. Number 5, Texas A&M. Number 6, Clemson. Number 7, Baylor. Number 8, Notre Dame. Number 9, Utah. Number 10, USC. Number 11, Oklahoma. Number 12, Oregon. Number 13, Michigan State. Number 14, Miami. Number 15, Arkansas. Number 16, North Carolina State. Number 17, Texas. Number 18, Wake Forest. Number 19, Ole Miss. Number 20, Penn State. Number 21, UCLA. Number 22, Kansas State. Number 23, Houston. Number 24, Purdue. And number 25, the Tennessee Volunteers, everybody. Let's break it down. Number 1, I got the Georgia Bulldogs. Reigning national champions. Now, what I look for in a reigning national champion to be ranked number 1 the next season is, do they return 5 stars? Do they return a good recruiting class? Do they return good players? Yes. Do they return a starting quarterback? Stetson Bennett is returning. Yes. Do they return talent on the offensive line? Yes. Do they return tight ends? Yes. Arik Gilbert, who's coming back this year, who didn't play 1 snap last season for the Georgia Bulldogs, ranked the highest tight end of all time coming out of high school. Highest ranked tight end of all time coming out of high school was Arik Gilbert. He's back on the roster this year. You got Darnell Washington back on the roster this year. You got Brock Bowers, who won best tight end in college football last year, back on the roster. So you have Brock Bowers, best tight end in college football, arguably, on the roster. You have Arik Gilbert, maybe the best tight end of all time on the roster. And you have Darnell Washington Jr., former 5-star, on the roster. That's wild stuff right there. This is a very good Georgia football team. Yes, they lost Jermaine Burton. Yes, they lost a lot of talent. But I like this Georgia Bulldogs team. They're number 1. Number 2, I have Alabama here because Alabama's just a good team, right? By Bryce Young, Will Anderson, just a good squad right here. Ohio State's going to be number 3. They're returning so much talent. Now, my Michigan Wolverines at number 4. I really think my Michigan Wolverines are just going to be amazing this year. But Jim Harbaugh made his quarterback decision. We're going to talk about that later. But so much going on with Michigan Wolverines right now. I get them at number 4. Clemson, I put them at number 6. DJ Ongle lost a lot of weight this summer. Will Shipley's going to be back maybe the next Christian McCaffrey. He's a good player. So I have them at number 6. Number 9, I had Utah. Utah, I'm not as high as them as some people are. You're going to see my pick in the Utah-Florida game later on in the episode. Number 12 at Oklahoma. So I'm going to give Oregon that slight edge over Oklahoma right here. I know I messed up a little bit earlier, but I think I have Oregon at number 11, and I have Oklahoma at number 12. Oregon, number 11, going up against number 1 Georgia, in my eyes, this week in Atlanta for that Chick-fil-A kickoff neutral site game. It's going to be an interesting week 1 game, but Bo Nix officially announced Oregon starter. Miami at number 14. Miami's a good squad. Tyler Van Dyke, who I really like this team. They have a favorable schedule going into the season. I know they play Texas A&M week 3. That's their chance to vault into the top 5, whatever it might be. Miami at number 14. Number 17, Texas. The AP doesn't even have Texas ranked. I really like this Texas team. Bijan Robinson, Quinn Ewers. It's their time, everybody. Texas, number 17. 22, UCLA. UCLA returns Dorian Thompson-Robinson as a 4th-year starter. Actually, maybe even 5th. They return Zach Charbonnet, senior running back from my Michigan Wolverines. He had a good season for them last year. They returned a lot of talent on the defense, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson does terrible. They got Ethan Garbers off the bench, who can play pretty well. So UCLA comes in at number 21. Kansas State, number 22. I talked about Adrian Martinez and them earlier. To round it out, number 24, Purdue, and number 25, Tennessee. 2 really good teams in my eyes. Giving Purdue that edge over Tennessee because that bowl game they had last year, which went down to the wire, the Music City Bowl, one of the best bowl games I've seen in a while. What a bowl game that was, but Purdue gets that slight edge over Tennessee. Purdue gets a tough match this weekend against Penn State. Actually, on Friday night. That'll be interesting to see right there. That's about for my top 25 here, but stay tuned to watch the games of the week prediction by me in College Football Showcase. Stay tuned. So let's hop into the second part of College Football Showcase, the games of the week. Now, traditionally, I'll pick like the top 2 games of the week and then maybe a few upset picks in there. But it's week 1, everybody. There's so many amazing games. I'm going to pick all of them right here. Let's hop into it. Games of the week for week 1. Now, I'm going to start out with my upset picks, but they're aimed at our friends in Las Vegas, if you know what I mean. So the first one I got right here, the backyard brawl, West Virginia versus Pittsburgh. Give me West Virginia plus 7.5. Interesting matchup right here. JT Daniels versus Keaton Slovis. Let me give you some background here. 2019 college football season, JT Daniels starts season opener versus Fresno State, tears his ACL. Keaton Slovis takes over for the rest of the season, balls out. JT Daniels loses the quarterback down to Keaton Slovis. Spring ball, job gets handed over to Keaton Slovis. JT Daniels transfers over to Georgia. Many people thought JT Daniels was much better than Keaton Slovis. Now JT Daniels over at West Virginia. Things didn't go so well for him last season at Georgia. I think he really just got messed up over there and didn't deserve what happened to him. But Keaton Slovis had a rough season last year at USC. Got replaced by Jackson. Dante Williams pulled the plug in Keaton Slovis. So now you got West Virginia versus Pittsburgh, the backyard brawl. West Virginia's got all these alternate uniforms going. I think West Virginia might even win this game. Give me West Virginia plus 7.5 right here. That's one of my upset picks of the week. Now, North Carolina State versus Eastern Carolina. Devin Leary, good quarterback. This one is going to happen. North Carolina State minus 11.5 versus Eastern Carolina. Lock it in. Now, last one right here. North Carolina versus Appalachian State. North Carolina balled out last week against Florida A&M. Quarterback Drake May, actually, played last week for North Carolina against Florida A&M, dropped 5 touchdowns. Brother of Luke May, who you might know, dropped that game winner for North Carolina a couple years ago in the Elite Eight versus Kentucky. So one of the best North Carolina basketball players of the past 10 years. His brother is now the quarterback for North Carolina, and he beat out a 5-star quarterback in Jacoby Criswell for this job. So Drake May is the real deal by Drake May in North Carolina, -1 versus Appalachian State. Now, I picked Miami -5 last year against Appalachian State. Didn't go so well for me, but this one's going to go well for me right here. Drake May in North Carolina, -1 versus Appalachian State. Appalachian State going down this week. Give me Drake May and North Carolina, -1. Now, the games of the week, Garrett, but we're going to pick the games, the top games of the week. Let's hop into it. First one, Friday night, under the lights, Penn State versus Purdue. This is an interesting matchup right here. I really like Aiden O'Connell. I really think Aiden O'Connell could be one of the best quarterbacks in the Big Ten. But Sean Clifford's going into his 6th year. This defense is experienced, everybody. They're running the ball well. I think they're going to have a good season this year. If Sean Clifford can't do much, they got the #1 quarterback recruit in the 2022 class in Drew Larve by coming off the bench. He beat out Christian Valou for that backup spot. So I got Sean Clifford in the Penn State Nittany Lions winning this matchup versus Purdue Boilermakers, everybody. Purdue's going to have a good season, but I think they lose week 1 to Penn State and have a very close one. Maybe with a game-winning field goal. We're just going to have to wait and see. Penn State wins this one. Now, Cincinnati versus Arkansas. Arkansas is a good team. They lost Treylon Burks. They lost a lot of talent, but they bring back quarterback KJ Jefferson, and they bring back offensive coordinator Kendall Browse. 2 of the most things you want to look for in a team. Maybe 3 of the teams you want to look for in a team is a returning head coach, a returning offensive coordinator, a returning quarterback. Arkansas does all of that right here. Arkansas wins this matchup. I'm sorry, Cincinnati. You're returning a head coach. You lost Desmond Ridder, so that's tough right there. And offensive coordinator isn't so amazing. So Cincinnati does not win this matchup versus Arkansas. I really think Arkansas blows them out of the water pretty early in this one. Arkansas beats Cincinnati. Now, Houston versus UTSA. UTSA, they had the miracle season last year. They lost a lot of talent. They did not do well in their bowl game against San Diego State, really the only real team they played all season. So that's why I'm taking Houston in this matchup. A lot of hype around Houston this season. I'm not buying into all of it. So Houston beats UTSA close, though. I don't think they have a 12-win miraculous season. Maybe they get 8 or 9 wins, but not a 12-win season. Houston over UTSA right here. Now, USF versus BYU. BYU has an atrociously hard schedule season. They play Oregon, they play USC, they play so many hard teams. If there's one team in the group of 5 that gets into the playoff this year, it's going to be BYU. BYU might even get to the playoff with 2 losses. That's how hard their schedule is right here. But USF pulls off the upset versus BYU. Jeff Scott, head coach of USF, former Clemson offensive coordinator. Now they have Gary Bohannon coming over from Baylor. Gary Bohannon was amazing for Baylor last year. He won every single game for them except for that Big 12 championship game. Really got done wrong right there. He won them the Sugar Bowl. He won them all those games. He beat all those amazing teams. He beat Oklahoma for them. But then Blake Shapen comes in, which this is a tough situation right here for Gary Bohannon. Maybe like a Kelly Bryant, Trevor Lawrence type of situation where Blake Shapen maybe is the more talented guy, but Gary Bohannon's a good player. I was really surprised to see Gary Bohannon had to go down to the group of 5. Gary Bohannon is a really great quarterback. He's a Power 5 level quarterback. USF pulls off the upset versus BYU. Sorry, Jaron Hall. USF Bulls win this one. Florida State, LSU, Sunday night under lights. Okay, a lot of great coaches started out their tenure with a new team with a loss. Jim Harbaugh did it. Nick Saban did it. Brian Kelly does it. Florida State beats LSU in this matchup. It's their time, everybody. Joshua Corbin's back. Jordan Travis is back. Mike Norvell's back. They look so good last week. I got them pulling off the upset. Now, I don't know who else's quarterback is going to be yet. Is it going to be Jaden Nails? Is it going to be Garrett Nussmeier? We're just going to have to wait and see. Either way, Florida State takes them down. Seminoles win versus LSU on Sunday night. Oregon versus Georgia, everybody. This is a neutral site game right before I pick the game of the week. Maybe the second best game of the week. I got Georgia winning this one over Oregon. Bo Nix plays Georgia all 4 years of his college football career. Even though he's in the Pac-12 right now, he had to move all across the country just to get crushed by Georgia again. Yes, it's going to happen again. Bo Nix and Auburn lose to Georgia yet again. Utah versus Florida. I was going back and forth in this one. It's Pac-12 versus SEC. It's in the swamp. You got Anthony Richardson at quarterback. You got Billy Napier starting out his tenure out of Florida. You know what? I'm going to do it. Chomp. Florida wins this one versus Utah. Cameron Rising is a fake quarterback. Anthony Richardson's Heisman caliber. Anthony Richardson and the 40 Gears take Utah. Lock in there, everybody. Now, my Michigan Wolverines versus Colorado State. Come on. It's Michigan, everybody. You know why I'm picking this. Michigan's my favorite team. K. McNamara is going to start the game. J.J. McCarthy is going to start week 2. I think Michigan might even get 50 points in the first half. The first half spread for Michigan is minus 15.5. That's a lock of the century, everybody. Minus 15.5 Michigan in the first half. You can lock it in. They can do that against any Big Ten opponent, including Ohio State, in my opinion. Michigan takes down Colorado State in this matchup. Now, the game of the week. Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Tyler Buckner starting his game at quarterback for Notre Dame. You got Marcus Freeman, first game, real game as a head coach of Notre Dame. They had the game last year against Oklahoma State in the Fiesta Bowl, but that was a bowl game, missing a lot of players. Kyle Hamilton dropped out. It's going to be a good game. I think Tyler Buckner and Michael Mayer have that connection. Michael Mayer, one of the best tight ends of college football, probably number 2 behind Brock Bowers right now. They could put Eric All there at number 3, Michigan tight end. But just a really good tight end, Michael Mayer. This is a good defense, but I think the talent they lost, Notre Dame, losing Kyle Hampton, losing a few receivers. I think it's going to be close, though. Give me Ohio State 37-28. Pains me to say it. The Buckeyes win over Notre Dame. This is just a tough game for me right here. I'm a Michigan fan. Notre Dame's our second biggest rival. Ohio State's our first biggest rival. So that's just tough right there. I'm not really rooting for either team in this game. Just an interesting game to watch as a college football fan in perspective. I think as a member of media, I would call myself a college football analyst. I would say Ohio State takes this win. Jack Smith and Jigba put some crazy numbers. I have Notre Dame losing to Ohio State in week 1. That's about for College Football Showcase this week. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Now, for those of you who don't know it, I've never talked about tennis on the show, but I love playing tennis. I play tennis all the time. I love watching tennis. I just don't really talk about it because tennis doesn't really bring views, and I never do it. We're always on hiatus. When Wimbledon happens, we're not really doing episodes. When French Open happens, we're doing episodes when Australian Open comes out and the U.S. Open comes out, and I usually give predictions for that. But I'm going to give my predictions for the U.S. Open right here. Here are some players who I think can have a good U.S. Open. Maybe not win it, but I'll give my winner at that. Who are some players who can maybe make the quarterfinals, semifinals of the U.S. Open? Hubert Hurkacz, who really just played amazing in the Montreal Open, beat Nick Kyrgios. He has an amazing serve on clay, on hard court, on any first surface you put him on. I really think Hubert, just amazing player. You got Yannick Sinner out of Italy. He upset Carlos Alcaraz in the second round of Wimbledon. Maybe he can do it again. Maybe he can have another great U.S. Open. Carlos Alcaraz obviously broke onto the scene last year at the U.S. Open, getting to the quarterfinals. He beat Novak Djokovic this year. He beat Rafael Nadal this year. Rafael Nadal still in this tournament. Novak Djokovic not. This tournament is up for the taking, everybody. Alexander Zverev isn't doing it. Taylor Fritz lost round 1. Stefanos Tsitsipas lost round 1. Dominic Thiem, 2020 U.S. Open winner, lost round 1. So it's up for open right now. I think Nick Kyrgios can really have a shot at this. Andrei Rublev can have a shot at it. But I think the person who really wins it is Daniil Medvedev, everybody. It's his first tournament in what seems like ages. He couldn't do Wimbledon. He couldn't do the French Open. I forget if he did the Australian Open or not because of all the Russia stuff going on right now. But Daniil Medvedev is one of the top tennis players in the world. I think he's ranked number 1 right now. Daniil Medvedev won the U.S. Open last year over Novak Djokovic. I think he wins it again this year over Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal is an amazing player, but he's running out of gas. It's tough to see Rafael Nadal running out of gas, kind of like that stretch he had from 2013 to 2017 with 0 Grand Slams. Nick Kyrgios, another player to watch out for right here. What a match he had against the Thomas Kokokonis the other night, his buddy. But Nick Kyrgios has that bullet serve. He's maybe the most talented tennis player of all time. Just attitude stuff with him. But my winner for U.S. Open, double-time champion. I have him winning yet again, Daniil Medvedev over Rafael Nadal, U.S. Open. Nick Kyrgios can maybe make the semifinals against Daniil Medvedev, but I think he loses right there. Those are my U.S. Open picks. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Now, best for last. Question. This week's question is, who's the better season? USC or Oklahoma? Make a preseason prediction right here. Lincoln Riley obviously left Oklahoma for USC. Caleb Williams obviously left Oklahoma for USC. Alex Grinch obviously left Oklahoma for USC, but Oklahoma brought some talent. They brought in Pat Venables. They brought in Dylan Gabriel. They brought in some good quarterback, young talent. They brought in a great recruiting class. But who has a better season, USC or Oklahoma? Leave your answer in the comment section. That's Power Question this week. That's Power Schoolyard Sports, Land Frank, episode 89. Thank you for tuning in. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Instagram at Schoolyard Sports. Follow Schoolyard Sports on Twitter at Schoolyard Sport. Follow Schoolyard Sports on TikTok at Schoolyard Sports. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review for the best sports content in the world. And I am the best college ball analyst in the country. Stay tuned. We'll be back next week, episode number 90. Stay tuned.